Welcome to the 21 Lines of Inquiry podcast that's all about helping you discover your UCW, your unique contribution to the world. Join us as we delve into the 21 questions that will help you be more intentional about bringing your gifts into your career and your life overall. So when you're ready, let's get started. Hi, it's Anita, and in this episode, I want to invite you to think about the question, what parts of your work do you naturally gravitate towards? Most occupations today, whether you're in a job or working for yourself, can be done in so many different ways, so that noticing which parts of your role or your overall responsibilities that you gravitate towards, or how you naturally choose to approach your job, can be very telling in giving you clues as to your UCW. So I started my career as a lawyer back in the 1990s. I studied law and then went straight into a law firm in the City of London to do my training contract. Then I qualified into the litigation department, which for those of you less familiar with the world of law was the bit to do with going to court and resolving disputes. After a couple of years, the firm sent me to their Hong Kong office, and it was here one day that the partner in charge called me into his office. "Anita," he said when I entered, "we have a problem." Oh, I wondered, what could that be? I racked my brain, but couldn't for the life of me think of anything. As far as I was aware, everything was going well with my clients, so I was curious to know what he was referring to. He continued, "Every case we give you, you settle." His eyes were twinkling by now, but he was making a serious point here. And he didn't say this explicitly, but it was effectively this. Lawyers bill by the hour. Billing hours in a law firm equals adding value. Settling cases equals fewer billing hours, equals a problem. "Ah," I said. Now, what I was thinking at this point, and my way of looking at things, which maybe shows my naivety at age 28, was this. Lawyers are there to use our knowledge of the law to serve clients. Settling a dispute so that the commercial relationship can be preserved equals good for clients. Why? Well, it saves them the cost and the time of expensive litigation and allows them to get back to running their business, which ultimately adds more value overall. The point is this. The way I naturally approached my role as a litigation lawyer was commercial rather than legalistic. I was more concerned with how we could bring the parties together in a way that was better for everyone overall than simply billing hours. Now, no one was telling me to do my job in that way, in fact, quite the contrary, but that just came naturally to me. However, I quickly realised that my approach was not commercial for my law firm. So then I asked myself, okay, well, where else could I work that would make this more commercial way of operating as a lawyer into a benefit for my employer rather than a problem? So I then went to work as an in-house litigation lawyer for a large bank. And although, yes, it was still law, here, rather than being the revenue generating part of the business, the lawyers were a cost centre. So suddenly my ability to settle things quickly and efficiently and commercially was seen as an asset, not a liability. Yet even here, in this new role, the way I chose to approach being an in-house lawyer gave me a further clue as to my UCW. At that time, I did not think of myself as an entrepreneur at all. It was the furthest thing from my mind. Yet, I can see now, looking back, that the way I naturally approached that role as an in-house lawyer, the least entrepreneurial job you could have, was completely as an entrepreneur. So here's an example of what I mean by this. Normally, the legal and compliance department in a financial services business is seen as a kind of policeman or someone stopping or getting in the way of the business generating revenue. But the first thing I did was to look for ways to use my legal knowledge and expertise to help the business succeed, which is a very entrepreneurial thing to do. What I did was to create a regulatory newsletter for each of the countries in Asia where we had offices, which summarised the latest regulations in a way that helped the business to generate new financial products that were legal. Now, it wasn't exactly Pulitzer-winning journalism or anything, but it was creative and useful. And I remember my boss, the head of legal, getting feedback from the CEO that it was nice to see the legal department being more entrepreneurial. So, what about you? Have a think now about what parts of your current role do you naturally gravitate towards? And what clues might this give you as to your UCW? You might also want to think about the role you've been in earlier jobs and pick out threads that with hindsight can be easier to spot. So when you've done that, I'll see you in the next episode.